Hello there, virtual crafters and city rebuilders. Thanks for clicking and welcome. You must be here to find out more about the soon-to-be-released Critter Cove, so I have some insights to share with you as a gamer that's got plenty of cozy crafting simulator experience, and after clocking about 20 hours in Critter Cove so far between the demo and a press copy that gave me the ability to get this video out as fast as possible to bring you the breaking news on a title which is to be released on Steam on September 10th in early access. A full beginner's guide will be out shortly. I just wanted to make sure that it will be packed with as much useful information as possible about what you'd be getting yourself into. This game's story and central objective is restoring the once fabulous tourist trap of Critter Cove to its previous prestige. You, the player, have applied for this adventure to turn over your existence of servitude to a capitalist overlord, a literal rat named Renard, whom you will meet after sailing to the island, only to have the vessel on which you were traveling burst into flames before sinking to the ocean floor. Off to a great start, are we? Stranded in a post-apocalyptic paradise advertised in the island manager job listing that you answered. Renard was seeking a self-starter who is handy with tools, willing to work, able to supply their own health insurance, shark positive, a team player, immune to robophobia, and willing to work on commission. Quite the list. Maybe I lied on my application. I am not all that shark positive. Sorry. At least our travel was paid for. It's about like being roped into the worst timeshare meeting ever for our main character. Oh wait, I think I just made the game sound like the most miserable experience. It's not. I've been eagerly awaiting for this to come out since I found out about it and tried the demo, which is still available on Steam. I'll link it in the description below so that you can try it out for yourself. Just FYI, your saved progress will carry over should you decide to purchase the game, so no time lost in starting over. And I can confirm that it works. All I did was install the early release and my game save was available to continue right away. The demo does not have a timer on it. You can play it as long as you'd like. However, there are several restrictions on it, such as how many quests or buildings that you can complete, and you're only able to amass 1,000 coins farming the limited loot storms that occur during the demo. But I think it will give you a good idea of what this game is all about, so give it a try if you have a few hours. In Critter Cove, you'll get your own humble house on the island, one of your choosing, which you will rebuild by collecting materials off the nearby beach. It will be the first of many renovations, as you're tasked with searching the surrounding islands to recruit new residents to move in, and then restore housing for each of them. However, you won't be limited to decorating just the inside of the interior space. It's your job to decorate the entire island. That's right, the whole thing. Gazebos, hot dog stands, beach chairs, topiaries. But first, you've got to clean up this mess. And that's how it all starts. Salvaging remnants across the island and beyond, above water and below. That's perhaps one of the features that I like the most about this game. Plenty of underwater exploration, scuba gear included. Gatherfests are always a good time in my opinion, but they're even better when the environment is aesthetically pleasing with rewarding loot everywhere. Not only that, but notes alluding to the world that used to exist before it sunk into the sea, which has become an intriguing plot point for me, has me wondering, what will we know by the end of this game? Where are you going with this story, devs? As far as the storyline running through Critter Cove goes, we can know this much from a post on Discord by developers. Different characters will have their own story in the form of specific character quests. The overall lore of the world will be presented, but also open to interpretation by the users. The game itself overall story is about the character fixing up the town and how they go about doing that. And what else have they shared with us lately? Well, there's this, which is a graphic all about the features added in early access release beyond what we already knew was coming after playing the demo. There's more exploration coming. What's mentioned here is Sunken City, Hotter Tropic, Boomerang Bay, and the underwater exploration in between. So it sounds like we can expect to be visiting more than just deserted islands, but rather some stops that were once civilized technology hubs of progress, aka cities. There will be new quests and critters to recruit, new plants, seeds, and recipes for your consumption enjoyment, the recycler and underwater farming, more relationship building, a radio to track weather and tourists, fins and wetsuits added for us avid divers, the ability to fish along with a new bait shop, updates to tourism, which will include sales carts, crafting recipes dialed in for tourists to help us generate more income, the ability to open and stock the museum, and upgrades to decorate Critter Cove. Also, a tavern, a furniture shop, and the clothing store have now become available, which includes a mirror that will allow us to change our appearance. Not just our clothing, but our character's physical traits. Look away if you're adverse to spoilers, because I already got the boutique up and running. It's the next inexpensive blueprint option available from Checkmark at his tourist stand. Home, wall, and flooring customizations were added as well, so now we can change up our flooring and wallpaper appearance. From what I can tell from playtime so far, the available textures are gained through completing quests. And I can already confirm after a couple of hours into the early access initial release, there are a number of new sites to explore, many of them containing new objects like popcorn makers, ice cream carts, balloon crates, and vending machines, all of which can be destroyed for segments of blueprints. All of these seem to be more money makers that we can scatter around Critter Cove for the tourists' enjoyment. There is also additions to the character creation, which, if you haven't already seen, is amazing. I got stuck in the character creation for an hour just trying to settle on a critter design. They just threw on a little more choice paralysis with all the additional designs for bird creatures and ears, which can be selected for a number of different animal type species. And the plug tail is just so adorable. You can make a hybrid robot animal if you wanted to. Good thing that we can make alterations and don't have to settle at the opening of the game, just have to get that clothing shop open. This character creator is just too much fun to play a run-of-the-mill human character for me, but those are available if that's your preference. There's so much more I love about Critter Cove, especially that I get to be the critter for a change. And while I could compare this game to others by saying it has elements of Animal Crossing mashed up with My Time at Portia, it still manages its own originality by giving us an entire underwater world to turn into our salvaging gold mine. A lesser known title comes to mind, Sunken Land. If I said it was Animal Crossing with Sunken Land, many in the wholesome, cozy space wouldn't have a clue what I was talking about. It's Sunken Land without all the violence, guns, and raids on your base, as in a much less stressful experience for me. It was something I was specifically looking for in a game that allowed for underwater exploration of old cityscapes as a major part of the gathering tasks. The only danger to me is running out of oxygen while I'm mesmerized by all the beautiful fish that they added to the seascapes of a lost world. As far as features goes, you can expect many of the standards that you would expect. Farming, crafting, fishing, friendly town folks to do quests for with lots of mindless gathering for hours and hours of relaxation. Perhaps the reason that people might compare it to My Time at Portia or Sandrock is due to the crafting system where multiple machines and workbenches are needed to process raw materials into components, which then further assemble into final products. Which is a system that I personally enjoy, and thankfully in Critter Cove the timers aren't nearly as long for processing materials. There's other quality of life built in, including connective storage systems where all your trunks are linked together so that you can access all from one location, which also allows you to pull items directly from your storage when crafting. So much less painful than having to find the chest that you put something in and then have your already overflowing inventory to juggle with all this crafting. For most crafting games, Critter Cove 2 has its own commission board to keep you busy between NPC assignments and quest lines. Fulfilling requests nets you some cash and increased reputation with island inhabitants, but that's not everything that there is to do with crafting machines in your workshop. We've got an entire town to rebuild. Shops, houses, tourist attractions, and amenities. Don't worry, you'll find plenty to do. We've got our basic workbench for final assembly, a specific furniture workbench, a fabricator, cutter, furnace, kiln, and loom to use for putting together everything that we're going to need. Oh, and then there's the one and done farming system. What do I mean by that? I mean that after you construct planters and plant your seeds to full growth, you'll be able to continue reharvesting from that plant as long as you keep it watered. So you don't really have to worry about your seed stock or constantly replanting. I definitely love that. The plants you can grow in a range from ordinary carrots and berries to fantastical creations like the drum stalk. If you guessed a meat drumstick that grows on a corn stalk, you'd be correct. I not only find this amusing, but it clues us into that we won't have to be slaughtering any of our animal friends to get in our protein. Oh, and then there's underwater farming too. After doing some questing, we'll acquire aqua planters to tend to. You might be then thinking, is there cooking in this game? There is. We're introduced to it early on with a basic campfire and a cooking station where you can mix and match ingredients to discover new recipes. These foods are vital in restoring your health and hunger meters, helpful to take a stack along when you're gathering on a spree because there's a mechanic for energy expenditure every time you engage in a task that requires a tool, such as digging, chopping, or disassembly. Fishing was a mechanic that got added as part of early access as well. A short island hop away, there is a critter that will walk you through the steps and give you the blueprint to make your own pole. Once you have that done, you can cast out your line, wait for a fish to tap on the bobber, and then click when it's hooked. The activity for catching a fish is a bit different than others that I've experienced in other games. The little fish icon will bounce up and down in a meter, and you click to try and keep it within the highlighted box. I wouldn't say that it's difficult, and it's even maybe a little less annoying than most games. There is a tab in the menu for social connections. It lists all the residents around Critter Cove. Your current status is marked in hearts, and you'll find that you do quests with them for what they like and don't like. Pretty standard stuff, but it does keep the game moving along by giving you things to do, places to explore, needs to be fulfilled by crafting more items. If you need more to do, check out the bulletin board in the center of town. Tourism is a huge part of the game. Why would you be building all these installations if it wasn't? There's a separate tab in the menu which tells us our attractions, tracks our profits, etc. Almost everything that you're doing revolves around this concept. Can't think of anything else to do? Well, why not craft some more lampposts, install some new benches, maybe put in a new vending machine with all those extra materials that you've gathered? Make this place into somewhere that you'd want to vacation if you were a critter. Every critter has a home in the cove. Despite different exteriors, the interiors are all the same, so no worries that you're picking the wrong house when you first arrive. Each comes equipped with a bed for sleeping and 2 storage chests to get you started on your pack rat hoarding. We can acquire the furniture from our own crafting after collecting blueprints from adventuring. We can also obtain them as gifts from residents. As early on access, there are also items given to you that will change the floors and walls into assorted textures and colors. I would guess that this will be expanded on in the future roadmap of the game, but I've already seen at least 2 sets of furniture available for interior decorating. The colorful critter characters are not only fun to have running around, some of them have downright charming personalities. Love pokey or not, you might admit that they're written in a pretty amusing way with that attitude. Each is different. They don't just like or dislike certain foods. Some will be much happier about the work assignments that you give them than others. Pokey's attitude sure turned around after I hired them to run the town's clothing store. The general environment is super cheery, bright colors, and the music fits perfectly, quite relaxing to listen to. There are weather effects that roll in and out, bringing storms of new loot to aid in your crafting. One of my favorite occurrences in the game is being out boating just as the sun is starting to go down and the moon is starting to appear in the sky. The graphics don't have to be realistic in order to be stunningly beautiful to enjoy as you motor along through your bathtub contraption. I love all the little areas around town that you can turn into relaxation paradises for tourists and the residents. This garden is soon to be turned into my chilling spot. The town is easy to navigate, especially once you start opening up your stores. I love this little lit up alleyway. I'll surely find a way to add a bunch of assets around the area to really bring it to life. The underwater exploration is exactly what I was hoping for. It's a vibrant world under the waves with tons of schools of fish whirling around, exotic plants, and buildings that, even in their decaying state, look pretty amazing. From small sites to a large metropolis that's sprawled to swim around, scavenging for materials and special items to take back to the workshop. Refillable scuba tanks give plenty of time to get some work done or to reach the deepest depths. They also stack, so you can just take a bunch with you while they automatically swap out while you're still under the water. So no worries about drowning until you've run out your stack. There are those many conveniences that are already built into the game, like connected storage, crafting directly from storage. There's even a boat storage upgrade for your bathtub. Most items and blueprints are easy to obtain, they just take a little bit of persistence and exploring. While many games propose themselves to be chill, sometimes you're overwhelmed by the daily chores that you find yourself rushing around to finish, and that's not my experience in Critter Cove. There's time to stand around watching timers on the crafting machines, to fish or to cook, time to enjoy the sunset. I definitely feel like this meets the threshold for a chill game, and thankfully that it's one of those games with a manual save feature, so if you need to log out midday, anywhere on the map, you'll be fine. At this point, I really don't have any complaints about the overall package. About the only suggestion I can even think up is having a list of items needed under track quests on the UI. Since I'm a scatterbrain that doesn't remember lists of materials more than 3 lines deep, I can't imagine I'm the only one with that struggle. Otherwise, I'm just waiting for more content to unlock. I know it's there, I can see it on the map and the island silhouettes in the distance before a restricted access message kicks me back out in the opposite direction. I still have the tavern and a furniture store to unlock. I've yet to max out all the blueprints. I would guess that there's a good 30 or so hours of gameplay, depending upon your playstyle, to get all the items and buildings, but there's endless playtime if you enjoy farming for currency while getting ready for the updates. There's also loot to be found. Storms roll in often enough that you can't possibly get it all before it respawns. So far, no outstanding bugs or crashes during my experience. The current optimization seems quite good on my Ryzen 5600X, with the 3060 Ti GPU. Keep in mind, any review is just a player's subjective experience, but hopefully this at least got you familiar with what's available in the upcoming release. If you're still not sure, give that demo a try. Be sure to wishlist it so you don't miss the release announcement, and if you're looking for the latest updates from developers, check out the Discord or look for their posts on Twitter at the Critter Cove game handle. For now, I'll just be farming doubloons to get the rest of these shops open while farming for the blueprints for more tourist amenities. This won't be the last of the Critter Cove videos for sure. Now back to working on relationship videos for Sunnyside. Take care, y'all, and bye-bye!